Let the games begin!
I'm going Peyton Manning and the Colts by 40. They would crush that Giants team. The Giants team barely got into the playoffs that year. Eli Manning, the most overrated athlete in the history of American sports, has no business in the Hall of Fame, has no business in any conversations for accolades. He got to the league on his last name alone. He was never that good. He made 2 good throws in his entire career. He got 2 rings because of his defense. Colts all the way here.
Statistically, they're both pretty even across the board record-wise. I mean, I like the offensive pieces a lot better on the 07 Colts than I do the 08 Giants. And when it comes down to it, man, the game is on the line. Peyton over Eli, Dungy over Coughlin, and Plaxico can just go fucking stand in the corner and shoot himself.
It's the Colts for me in this one. The Giants were ranked 17th in points allowed to opposing offenses during that season. They happened to be on a hot streak in which they rode the playoffs and didn't allow more than 20 points. However, this game being played in a vacuum like it would have to be negates the hot streak. That's Colts offense, though, was battle-tested throughout the season. We saw them beat the Ravens, the Pats, and the Bears, who were ranked 1, 2, 3 in points allowed to opposing offenses. Could be argued that Bears team that Peyton beat had a better defense than that Giants team that won the Super Bowl with.
Absolutely. He's one of the best baseball players to ever live. He dominated a 20-year era with and without the steroids. Before steroids, he's a 40-40 man. Nobody's ever done that. And with steroids, he hit 73 home runs and had a 600 on-base percentage. Yeah, nobody could do that with and without steroids. Steroids are the equalizer. He was doing them just like everybody else, which means if everybody's cheating, nobody's cheating. Barry deserves to be in the Hall and at the top.
Yeah, so as the resident Braves fan, should Barry Bonds, who broke Hank Aaron's record, be in the Hall of Fame? Yes, he should. He had numbers before. He broke Aaron's record before the steroids, and they should put his plaque directly above the men's urinal.
Woo! I'm rich! Thanks, guys. Now, for this question, absolutely Barry Bonds deserves the Hall of Fame. Was there a steroid policy in place while he was actively using? No. Did Bud Selig, who was complicit in all of this, get elected to the Hall of Fame? Yes. Are there other things at play that are preventing people like Barry Bonds from getting to the Hall of Fame? Maybe. But on the notion of ethics and standards, you have abusers and cheaters also in the Hall of Fame, so why not Barry?
What's going on, everybody? The Unforgettable Basketball Podcast, and I love this question. Dame versus Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson got buku moves in his bag, and, you gotta respect that. Kids these days still look up to him for all that stuff. However, Dame can shoot, boy. Dame can shoot the lights out. He can shoot better than Allen Iverson, hands down. And he's bigger, taller. I think Dame would take the cake in this competition.
Definitely going Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson, from a point guard perspective, was the most lethal killer in terms of a scorer, and in one-on-one, that's what it takes. Not only that, a lot of the moves and things that current point guards have learned and developed have been from watching and growing up, watching film on Allen Iverson. So just when you think you've mastered all his moves, all you have is film. He's still creating. So I would absolutely go Allen Iverson.
It's a great question because I feel like we're getting a ton of different names, so this is going to be fun, but gave me Adrian Peterson, NFL MVP, second season all-time leader, 5th all-time rusher while missing 2 seasons. Guy was just a beast, and he did this on a really bad franchise. He did this in an era where the league started transitioning out of running backs, and he did it off an ACL tear. This is just everything you want to say about AD. He's done it.
Who the fuck gave Peng's picks 57 points for saying Adrian Peterson is the greatest running back of all time? That's such a bad take. You got to be trolling or baiting or something. I'm going to say Barry Sanders is the best running back of all time.
I'm going to say Emmitt Smith. All these dinglings that always want to detract Emmitt Smith and say how great his line was. Let's remember he had 2 rushing titles and 2 Super Bowls before Nate Newton and Eric Allen were on the team. Okay, he made them all pros and Hall of Famers.
Emmitt Smith, Daddy Davis is definitely not the greatest running back of all time. No.
Absolutely not. has nothing to do with anything. Everybody's looking for an edge, whether it's through drugs or rehab or training. It's all the same thing. They should be able to put their bodies through whatever they want to put their bodies through. It's not actually cheating.
If it is against the rules and regulation of the sport, then absolutely it should affect how we view their accomplishments. If not, fair game.
Man, I love this. Trying to keep it going, guys. Thanks. But I think this should be treated subjectively, if I'm being honest. PEDs can increase your strength, but they can also increase injury if your tendons aren't up to par with how much strength you're putting on. Like Giancarlo Stanton, paying $300 million for a guy who's played 30% of his games. That certainly has an effect on your team. And now that they're pretty much illegal in all sports, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think it certainly does affect it. It certainly affects accomplishments.
Super Davis, yeah. The short answer and the long answer is yes. It should be an asterisk next to it. The record shouldn't be necessarily wiped out. They should just have an asterisk next to it.